boys and girls. My name is Allison and I'm a paramedic with Leon County EMS. Paramedics work on the ambulance. Does anybody here know what an ambulance is? An ambulance is like a mobile hospital, and we take people that are sick or injured to the hospital so they can be worked on by a doctor or a nurse. Does anybody want to come inside and see the ambulance with me? Come on. Welcome to the inside of our ambulance. Almost all of our ambulances are set up the same way, so if you're ever in this ambulance or another one, it should look just like this. Inside the ambulance here, we have these seats on the side where your mom or dad can sit, or a relative, or we sit when we're taking care of you when you're on our bed. When you're on our bed, we have these seat belts to strap you in just like you're in your car so you stay safe on the way to the hospital. If you're not big enough for our bed, we also have a car seat, just like in your mom or dad's car. We strap you in, and then we're able to take you safely to the hospital. When we first come to you in an emergency, we might have this backpack on. We put it on our back, and then when we get to you, there's bandages inside in case you're bleeding, or other equipment and medications in case we need to help you prior to getting into the ambulance. When we get in the ambulance, we'll turn on this big machine, and what it does is when we put stickers on you, we can monitor the inside of your body, like your blood pressure and your heart rate, and how well you're breathing. With these cabinets, these are all of our medical equipment. And in here, we can also monitor your breathing, stop some bleeding if you're bleeding too bad, or give you some fluid if you need some fluid, like when you drink water. We give it through your vein in your arm. When we're on our way to the hospital, and after we've taken care of you, and you're resting, and we've given you all of the medications that you need, and we're monitoring you, we have to now call the hospital. Does anybody know how we do that? We use our radio. It's like a telephone, but you don't need numbers. We just press the button, tell the hospital all about you and what we've done to help you, and that way when we get to the hospital, they have a room ready, and the doctors and nurses are already there to take care of you. This is our bed, also known as a stretcher. On our stretcher, we also have an IV pole that we're able to hang a bag of fluid on if we need to give you any fluid that you can have while you're getting into the ambulance and then back out the ambulance when we get to the hospital. Also, if you need oxygen because you're not breathing very good, we have an oxygen tank right here for you so that we always have oxygen on you and make you feel better. When you're on the stretcher, you're with the seat belts so that you're always safe, whether you're going into the hospital or whether you're coming out of your house and into the ambulance. The stretcher is automatic. It has wheels that lower when we need to take you out of the ambulance or raise to put you back in the ambulance. When you're in the ambulance on the stretcher, it has locks so that the stretcher cannot move anywhere and keeps you safe. Have you ever noticed that ambulances have doors on the outside of them? Well, in these doors, we have other equipment that can help you when you're at a car accident, if you ever have a car accident, or if you need help coming down from steps. We have a stair chair, and this can help you safely get down any steps if you're unable to walk. We have this big yellow hard board that we call a backboard. And if you get in a car accident and you might have something wrong with your spine, we can put you on here and secure you to it before we put you inside the ambulance to make sure that you are not hurt any further. And here, if your grandma or grandpa falls and they're unable to get up and maybe they've hurt their hip, we can put them on here to keep them stabilized while we transport them to the hospital on the stretcher. Now we're in the front seat, and this is where we sit to drive. We put on our seatbelts, turn on the lights, and talk to dispatch through the radio. We receive all of our calls and where to go on this map. The special map is called a CAD, and it tells us all the information that we need prior to us arriving at your house or wherever you're having the emergency. The safest thing to do when you see an ambulance with their lights on is to pull over to the right, slow down, and wait for the ambulance to pass by. Then safely come back over and keep going wherever you're going so that they can arrive at the emergency safe. Do you know what number to call when you have an emergency? 911. And when you call 911, you tell them what your emergency is, whether you're sick or injured. They'll also ask if you want an ambulance, police officer, or a fire truck. And after you tell them your address and phone number, they send them to you and help you in any emergency that you need. If you don't already know your address or phone number, you need to ask your mom and dad and memorize it so that you always know it in case of an emergency. Thank you, boys and girls, for learning all about ambulances today. But I gotta get back to work, so I'll see you guys later.
Hi guys, my name is Sarah Cooksey, Public Information Officer for the Tallahassee Fire Department, and welcome to our virtual tour of Engine 1, which is housed at 327 North Adams Street. Engine 1 is a 2014 E1 pumper. So I'm going to go inside and take a look. Welcome to the engineer's seat, also known as the driver's seat. The driver's position is one of the most important positions because that's how we get to and from our calls safely. Right above my head, you'll see the emergency master panel. This is how I turn on my lights and activate the panel for the siren, which is over here. Just on the other side of that is our radio. That's how we talk back and forth to dispatch that takes the 911 calls, and the lieutenant that sits in the officer's seat uses that radio. Right here in front of me is a PTO switch for the pump panel. That's what we turn on in our in-cab procedures so that we can then pump the water from outside the truck. That's how we put the fires out. Over here you'll see headsets. Each one of our crew members wears one of these headsets. It helps protect their hearing as well as makes it easier to talk to others while we're going down the road in this loud engine. Now that I've shown you the inside of the truck, let's take a little bit of time to learn about the outside. I'd like to introduce you to firefighter Caleb Timmons, who's right in the back, and he'll take it from here.
Hi, my name's Caleb. I'm a firefighter, and this is where we as firefighters ride. This is where we keep our gear, our jacket, and our pants. This is our air pack, so we can have fresh air at the fires we go to. And now we'll take a look at the compartments on the outside of the engine. This right here is what we call the pump panel. It's how we control the water at the fires that we go to. It pumps these hoses. These are the hoses we actually use to put out the fire. Next compartment we call the driver's compartment. We have some spare hose pieces that we may need for hose. We have some small hand tools and some extra nozzles. Next compartment, we have the tools that we actually take inside to the fires. We have an axe, a sledgehammer, a couple other small tools. There's another axe back here, and a couple other tools. Right here we have spare air bottles, just in case one we have on our air pack runs out. We can swap it out real quick. It doesn't take very long. This compartment, we have 4 fire extinguishers for 4 different types of fires we can have. We have our fans for ventilation, what we call ventilation, which is basically when we have to get smoke out of a structure that's smoked up really bad. And over here, I'll introduce you to John White, who's going to walk you through the rest.
Hello everybody, I'm Firefighter John White, and let's get started on compartments. In this compartment, we got really long tools called pike poles, and if there's like fire in the ceiling or anything, this is what we use to pull the ceiling out. We also have ladders in here, really long ladders. Let's go up top. Up here, we got some 5-inch hose. It's really wide, really heavy. And we got some 2.5-inch hose up here too. In this compartment, we got extrication, what we call extrication equipment. This is what we use to cut up cars and heavy machinery. They're like really heavy scissors. You see? Also on this side, we have spare bottles also, like you saw on the other side. In this compartment, we also have really tall buildings in Tallahassee, so we'll use what we call a high-rise pack to go up in those tall buildings and fight fire up there. In this compartment, this is what we use for car accidents and all that. We got wood blocks, we got kitty litter, and we got a chainsaw and what we call a K tool. This is what we use to make really fine cuts. And let's keep going. If you call 911 for anything medical related, this is what we use. This is our medical inventory.
So now that we've talked about Engine 1, our fire truck, let's talk about some of the safety gear that we wear going into a fire. To start, we wear a helmet. This protects our head from things that might come crashing down on us, as well as from the heat. Next, we have our SCBA mask. This is an air mask so that we can breathe fresh air when we go into fires. And then right underneath that, we have our air pack. So this hose right here at his waist actually will hook into this air mask, and he will be breathing the air out of the tank that's carried on his back. That tank lasts approximately 25 minutes. Next, you'll see his coat, this bunker coat to protect him from burns. He does carry a flashlight to help him see in the dark. We have gloves to protect our hands and our fingers. And then we have our bunker pants, and we have our boots. All of this safety equipment weighs approximately 65 pounds. And now I would like to introduce you to 2 very special friends. Let me introduce Deputy Chief Gene Sanders and Sparky.
Hi, I'd like to thank Firefighter White and Firefighter Timmons for showing you how our fire trucks help fight fires and save lives. So I have a question. Did you know that you could be a fire safety hero? Well, here's how. Check your smoke alarm, or have an adult or your parents check the smoke alarm once a month to make sure it beeps. Have a working fire extinguisher in the home. Lastly, develop a fire escape plan. Identify an area outside the house to meet once you're out of harm's way. For more safety tips or to take the fire safety pledge, go to sparky.org.
Hello there, my name's Cameron Wood. I work with the City of Tallahassee. Today we'll go over a bucket truck, show you all the stuff that's in it and the stuff we use every day when we work on the line and when we replace poles. We have to have battery chargers on the bucket because a lot of our tools we use battery cut saws. Everything's battery operated. Saws, bolt cutters, crimpers, drills, impact guns. So we have to keep batteries in there. This bin we have bolt cutters, mat holders, extension links, transformer slings. There's a big, this holds our rope so when we have to pull up wire. Various stuff, and you have to keep all that in bins and keep it from getting dirty. This is called a hand line. dollies, toys. This is stuff you guys are more interested in. Lots of bolts, dead end shoes, that's what holds the wire up. Armor rods, we put those on the wire to keep it from protecting itself. We go up in the bucket and put this on the wire. These are called dead end insulators. This is what the wire sits in here. You tighten it up and you put it on top of the pole. We go up in the bucket to change, put those on poles all the time. This is where we get in the bucket. It'll go 55 feet in the air. And in this next video, you'll see us go up in the bucket to change out this pole. Hope you enjoy. 771-618. At this time, we'll be closing in 80 Ts at pole number 44436. When severe thunderstorms come through, you never know what you're going to find. Today we had a broke pole, wire down the street. It's pretty dangerous. Situations can be dangerous. You never know what you're going to come across. Every pole's different.
We're framing this three-phase dead end pole out. It's got a two-phase tap coming off the side headed north. And we're just getting everything laid out. It makes it a lot faster to do this down on the ground versus do it up in the air. Because more than you get several people working on it. Yeah, no two poles are the same. So every situation is different.
Seven 771-618. At this time, we'll be closing in 80 Ts at pole number 44436. 10-4, we are in the clear.
10-4, consider hot.
Good job. Everybody did a wonderful job.
Hello everyone, and thank you for inviting us to show you some of our gadgets and equipment that we use to protect the citizens of Leon County just like yourself. I am Deputy Shade McMillan with the Leon County Sheriff's Office, and with me today is Deputy Bernie Hernandez of the Leon County Sheriff's Office. How you doing today?
Doing great, Shade. Glad to be here.
Again, thank you for inviting us in to show you some of our gear that we use on a daily basis. First of all, if you can see behind me, this is what we refer to as our Bearcat. And I'm not going to contend to know a lot about these pieces of equipment, so I'm going to turn it over to one of our famous SWAT operators from the Leon County Sheriff's Office. So, Deputy Hernandez, tell us a little bit about what we have today and what's on you.
As Shay mentioned, my name is Deputy Hernandez. I've been with the Leon County Sheriff's Office SWAT team since 2013, currently assigned to the sniper unit. What we have here is the Bearcat. It's an armored personnel vehicle able to stop rifle rounds. So whenever we get into a hot call situation, it's nice to have that added protection. Contrary to popular belief, the mission of the SWAT team is to save lives, and sometimes when we encounter bad guys, they want to shoot at us, so this is what keeps us safe. We'll take this on a call out. Our SWAT team can deploy on the outside, so you can climb up here right on the Bearcat as we deploy to a hot call. We also have in the front a Bearcat. This little pole right here we can attach to the front and use it as a sort of ram. We have ports here, so if you notice these little round things right here, you can pop out, nice little hole, stand behind the door, and then you can look and engage your targets through this hole right here. We also have a nice little turret up top for added protection.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the turret, Deputy Hernandez. We're going to give you guys a tour and show you what it actually looks like from up above the Bearcat in the turret.
All right, and this is the view of the turret. It has this nice little round protective layer that we added. It's called a cupola. What you can do is you can rotate this to wherever you want to. It rotates 360 degrees. And then pop the little shield there. And from here you can see, or you can come up on target. And then of course you can move it around as well. All right, this is some of the equipment that we use. This is a full body shield. Pretty solid, it's able to stop any kind of rounds to a certain point. In the front, we have a little light, so what you would do is you would have your whole team stack up. You can look through the little glass, and then we'd make entry. This is a full body shield. It's very cumbersome. Sometimes you need a lighter version of this, smaller version. Much more easier to deploy with a smaller shield. Once we come up to the house, you'll have somebody stacked up behind the shield. You'll have various operators. One of the tools we use to breach is called a ram. So you would take this, come up to the door. If it was locked, you would come back, pop the door, drop the ram, and then you can come out and engage. Some of the other tools we use. This is our hooligan right here. A nice entry tool. We use this point to break windows. So you would break, rake, and then once you get done breaking and raking, you would drop the tool, and then you can come out and engage. This little tool right here, we could use this to grab a door handle per se and grab it. And then we have the all-purpose multi-tool, the axe, or you can use them back. As mentioned before, we are a life-saving team, so we have tactical medics that deploy with us. They are certified through EMS, and they are paramedics. They are trained to deal with any kind of wound, any kind of situation. Various tourniquets, and you can see inside everything that we would need in case one of us gets hurt. And this is just another version of the stuff the medics would carry with them. It's got a whole bunch of meds in there and whatnot. And that's just some of the tools that we use.
Well, Deputy Hernandez, thank you for showing us all these cool gadgets that we have inside this armored vehicle. But like you said earlier before, this is a personnel carrier. So this carries personnel and persons inside of it. But when we have a SWAT operation, we have to actually have another vehicle that carries all the other equipment you guys would need on a scene, correct?
Correct.
Okay. We're going to transition to that vehicle and show you what all that vehicle does. I'm here with Deputy Hernandez, and like we said before, the Bearcat carries all the personnel for the SWAT team, but you guys have to have a separate vehicle to carry all the equipment that you use. So where are we at right now?
Absolutely. So this, and it's a SWAT van. Historically, it's been a van, but it could also be a truck. Whatever you want to call it, we would park this at a safe location, and if we needed something from this vehicle, we can just send somebody out there and go pull it. What I'm going to tell you is we have a couple of features here. Usually a vehicle like this would be charging batteries, the shield, anything that's electrical, and you don't want it draining from the vehicle because when you try to crank it up, it might be dead. So we'll have a backup standby generator to charge all that equipment up. This truck has various compartments that we would use to store equipment. As you can see, we have some mirrors. There's a ladder, fold-out ladder. This compartment right here. We have some gloves. These little nifty tools, we can use this to either you can lay on it or you can put something on it and just something to use to move around. Got some bags, some chalk for the wheels. And this little compartment right here, we have our rope. We would use this 200-foot rope to tie off. We would hook up to it, and we would use this for rappelling. Let me take you to the back. All right, here we are, the back of the van.
Now, Deputy Hernandez, like we said before, this van and vehicle is used for all the transportation of equipment.
Yes.
This looks really big, so let's open it up and look inside and see exactly and explain to us what we can do inside of this.
Okay. If you can imagine, we would have this full of equipment ready to go for whatever operation we would need. All the cabinetry, all the shelves have something in it. And of course, let's not forget, Shade, if you're out there on a call out and you've been in this situation before, you always want to make sure you have your snacks.
Hey, you got to have the snacks for everyone when you're out there these long days. Sometimes these operations can last up to 8 hours, folks. So we really have to have stuff out there to take care of our guys out there when they have no way of going back in and getting nourishment or any kind of fluid. So we keep it in our trucks. Well, thank you, Deputy Hernandez, for showing all these folks and me including in and around these SWAT vehicles. Thank you guys for letting us show you what we do and how we do it and the tools that we use to protect the citizens of Leon County. As you can see, we love what we do, and we really appreciate you guys taking the time out to watch and learn about how we protect you guys.